What's up, guys? I hope you are doing well. Today, we are going to talk about a comic book that has been one of the best to have come out in recent times from DC Comics, Batman 3 Jokers. 30 years after the killing joke that changed comic forever, the 3 Jokers re examines the myth of who or what is the Joker and what is at the heart of his ongoing battle with Batman. My name is Rasil aka RDX and welcome to Unnecessary Comic Stuff. Please watch the video till the end to know what we know of these 3 Jokers so far. And do not forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. It all started in 2016 in another comic written by Jeff Jones, the author of 3 Jokers. During the Justice League Darkseid War, Batman gained control of Metron's Mobius chair. This chair offers knowledge among other abilities, although its owner must direct it. And of course, Batman asked the question about the identity of the Joker. We learned in the Rebirth how the chair answered him that instead of a name, he got to know there were 3. Following which, there was no mention of them anywhere until now when this comic was announced. With that said, now let us quickly recap the events of highly anticipated 3 Jokers issue 1 and 2. The comic issue 1 starts off with Batman crashing his Batmobile against his beloved father's tomb in the graveyard. After which we see Batman get out of his Batmobile bleeding and hurt as he somehow makes his way to Batcave where the Alfred is ready to fix him. As soon as we see his bare back, we get to see the scars left by the most prominent archenemies he has ever faced off against. This was one of those moments where the illustration in DC Comics took over me and I couldn't help but marvel at them. As Alfred is fixing him up, Bruce being to hear the Joker's infamous laughter, growing louder and louder till Bruce starts to get a flashback of the night his parents were murdered. Then we are taken to the lives of Barbara Gordon and Jason Todd, who have similar haunting flashback of the Joker and the thing he did to both of them as shown in comics, the killing joke and the death in family. Next, we get to read about 3 crimes which took place simultaneously and all 3 were committed by the Joker as confirmed by witnesses and live streams. The Joker killed several of the last members of Moxon crime family, killed a comic on live stream with butter knife and poisoned 3 guys at Ace Chemicals. For those of you who are unaware about the Moxon family, they are credited with orchestrating murders of Thomas and Martha Wayne, even though Joe Chill confessed in the court that he acted alone. Back to the issue 1, one of the poisoned guys was still alive and he was transported by the ambulance, in which Red Hood was already present for some interrogation and was being followed by Batman and Batgirl. Batman then goes to suggest a team up saying he's not working alone. Neither can we. In next scene, the 3 Jokers reveal themselves planning for a better Joker using some chemicals. We don't know yet. What we know so far is Batman working alone was kind of iconic to me, but here he had to change his ways when it comes to 3 Jokers, which is iconic in its own sense. And Batman appreciating Red Hood for his investigation is rarely seen in their father-son relationship, which is again quite pleasing to read. Meanwhile, continuing their investigation, the heroes arrive to Gotham Aquarium, where they see tanks filled with fishes and sharks possibly exposed to the chemicals that made the Joker. I also have to say the artwork done by Jason Fabok is any DC fanboy's dream come true. He is extremely talented at making the comic readers fall deep into the details and imagine bringing the comics to life. Ace Chemicals, which created the Joker, seems to be heavily featured in the first issue, which was used as a venue as well as agent on the 3 guys in the beginning of the issue, and now again in the aquarium creating smiling shark and fishes. It is safe to conclude that these chemicals bleach the skin, corrupt DNA of exterior parts and cause nerve damage to facial muscles, breaking the jaws into the smile. Back to our protagonist, we see Gaggy, the court jester of Joker, along with some other thugs waiting for them, and the Bat family had no difficulty in handling armed thugs, but the bullet being fired break the glass and Gaggy gets eaten by smiling shark. Shortly after which, the Joker makes his first appearance in front of the Bat family. Equipped with a few tricks up his sleeves, he managed to pull Red Hood's mask off before Batman and Batgirl quickly incapacitate him. Batman then leaves the Joker with Batgirl and Red Hood to go and help Commissioner Gordon in nabbing another Joker. This Joker, as usual, is full of surprises like razor sharp cards, acid spraying flowers, and no matter how undefended he seems, he has a plan to get into Jason's head, reminding him of his painful death at the hands of Joker, eventually leading to Red Hood shooting the Joker dead, despite Barbara's disapproval of his actions. This is how issue 1 ends. It is also seen that Batgirl maybe wanted the Joker to die by deliberately missing her Batarang from hitting the gun in Jason's hand. It was even remarked by Jason when he asked her when was the last time she missed. It ends with Jason finally getting his revenge on Joker, and obviously at this point of time we don't know if this is in fact the real Joker or if there has always been 3 Jokers. Issue 1 made us believe that maybe 3 Jokers have always been coexisted, or maybe one true Joker is making new version of himself and somehow he is implanting his memories in them, but again we don't know till we read issue 2. As for issue 1, we get to see its continuity to the death in family in which Jason dies and the killing joke in which Barbara gets paralyzed by being shot by the Joker and maybe also getting raped. Jason Fabok's artwork is stunning in this 9-panel grid format. It paces the story very well, and I think Fabok uses the better technique than both Gary Frank and Brian Boland. His artwork makes the comic readers like me fall deep into the details as if they are in motion, just like we see in movies. The story is phenomenal. It focused on physical and emotional scars from its three protagonists have endured. That being said, the interaction between everyone in the book are so fluid and natural. There is so much character plot and depth put into this one comic. I recommend this comic for any Bat fan. We all know that giving the Joker an origin story is risky on behalf of DC and Jeff Johns, hence the Black Label, but this truly feels like an epic mystery about Batman's villains. Coming to issue 2, which was released just this Tuesday, we felt that 3 Jokers issue 2 has a lot of narrative weight resting on its shoulders. It must move forward the series' primary narrative, that is unlocking the biggest mystery in DC Comics universe, and at the same time also deal with the immediate aftermath of last issue's cliffhanger, which was the Red Hood executing one of the Jokers. And let it all said, the series itself has 4 years worth of building in fan anticipation riding on it. Therefore, there wasn't much margin for error. Issue 2 starts with the comedian arriving home to his family for dinner, which was quite unexpected to us, as the thought of the Joker having normal family is something that we are not comfortable with. Thankfully, we get to know that this was just a part of fantasy with the dolls as he get interrupted by the criminal, who blames his idea being the reason why the clown was killed.
Following this is a full page of Joker's illustrations, but his infamous laugh is missing and replaced by buzzing of flies over the corpse of the clown. Next, we are taken to the scene where Commissioner Gordon had called Batman for nabbing the second Joker in issue 1. There, they discover a dead body who was exposed to same toxin but was mauled to death by his own guard dogs. It takes them no time to find out it wasn't Joker who was spotted, but an old guy named Jude Waltz, who was dirty and responsible for bribes and sending criminals to Arkham Asylum. Barbara Gordon then enters the room and demands a private conversation with Batman before calling Red Hood a criminal in front of Commissioner Gordon. On their way out, she tells him everything that went down after Batman left in issue 1, repeatedly stressing the point that Red Hood had not killed a Joker but a human being strapped to a chair. Batman and Batgirl struggle to cope with fallout of Jason's actions. Batgirl wants Red Hood brought to justice for murder, and one might assume that Batman would feel that way too, but his response was surprising and not quite an admission of failure but tacit of the same. It's a refreshingly human response from Batman, who is all too frequently portrayed as being so black and white in this code that there is no room for any grace, and even included Batman feeling regret for what happened to Jason. In the next scene, we see Red Hood taking investigation matters into his own hands, literally before figuring out the place where Joker hid a whole lot of chemicals. In the meantime, Batman and Batgirl reach Blackgate Penitentiary, because Batman had examined the body of Jude Waltz and found out that he was bludgeoned to death with an award, which carried the fingerprints of one of the inmates, Joe Chill. Pulling this name into the plot appears to be less logical and more bending over backward to somehow tie the Joker into Batman's origin. Before Batman finds out that Joe Chill is sick with stage 4 cancer, we see Batman having flashback of that fateful night which gave birth to the character. It takes no time for Batman to figure out that he was led there intentionally. But before anything can happen, they find out Jason's location through Alfred. Over at Gotham City's Athletic Association's closed swimming pool, we see a horrifying sight of human bodies lying in a pool filled with acid. As one of the barely alive bodies tries to get hold of Jason's foot begging for help, Jason gets dragged by the 2 Jokers and tied to a chair after getting stripped naked. Then one of the Jokers put on his Red Hood helmet over Jason's head, but with the twist it had Joker's iconic smile painted over it. The two continue to talk Jason into believing how they were all more alike than Jason thought. That we come to know of 3 Jokers' motives to turn Red Hood into another Joker as they proceed to beat him with a crowbar. The horrifying segment in which Jason is kidnapped by the remaining Jokers with a twisted goal is the issue's most effective moment for us. Although it is something that spins out of it, is sure to be issue's most controversial moment. On the next page, we find Batman and Batgirl enter the pool building but quickly get surrounded by Joker's horde of mind control minions that resemble a zombie army. As they get rid of mind control victims of Joker's toxin, they discover Jason's body, beaten and bruised in a room with a big oops written all over it, possibly with Jason's blood. We were relieved to find out that Jason hadn't died, as he stood up looking very disturbed as he blamed Batman for putting him on this path. At that moment, Barbara provides him the warmth of human contact and comforts him. Then we see Batman and Batgirl arguing about Jason in Barbara's apartment, where Jason was brought to rest. When Jason wakes up, he kind of goes through Barbara's things and finds a book on chronic pain management. When Barbara walks in, we see them share an intimate moment which Barbara later says was only a moment. If anyone knows how can I sign up for one of these moments, let me know in the comments. In another scene, the world's best detective, Batman is shown sitting in his Batcave with Joker files on missing criminals and clowns. As he looks at a globe lying nearby, the next panel zooms in on Chile, Alaska, which we learn was only to brilliantly progress to the end of this issue, in which Joker sets a recording camera in front of Joe Chill and asks the most important question regarding Batman's existence. Why did you really kill Thomas and Martha Wayne? Keith Jones is usually a writer known for epic comic actions and superhero adventures, but he dwells deep into the darkest instincts for this Gotham-based thriller, as the three people hurt most by the Joker over the decade confronts the monster in three phases. This issue does an amazing job of dwelling into the trauma that both Barbara and Jason have undergone and how it affected them. While the family rallied behind Barbara and supported her through recovery, Jason was left alone to struggle through his pain and reinvent himself in blood. I'm not sure Bruce Camp's approach on Jason's action in this issue are exactly in character. They seem like kinder, gentler Bruce that we are used to, but it's definitely preferable to the alternative of a Bruce that views his son as just another rogue to be defeated. Same as last issue, artists Jason Fabok and Brad Anderson carried the day more than anything else. The attention to detail is astonishing but never overbearing and resulting in stiffness. Fabok's sense to panel progression is the stuff sequential art dream are made of. Look at the faces on Joker's wife and son, the terror we see in the eyes of Jason Todd's victim, and then later in the book, the way Batman reacts when approaching the cell of chilling figure from his past. Although not as earth-shattering as its opening installment, Batman 3 Jokers Issue 2 is a masterclass in sequential storytelling thanks to jaw-dropping compelling visuals. The real weight though isn't the inherent mystery, but rather in the emotional fallout. Joker is absolutely terrifying in this comic as he should be. While the clown is dead, we get a horrifying flash to the comedian's twisted fantasy life. The addition of Joe Chill to this comic is an unexpected wrinkle as Batman finds his parents' killers as a dying old man in Blackgate. I'm not usually a big fan of Joe Chill stories, but this one has potential. A harrowing segment in which Jason is kidnapped by the remaining Jokers with a twisted goal is the issue's most effective, although something that spins out of it is sure to be the issue's most controversial moment. This issue is one of the most effective bat thrillers I have read in a while.
Geoff Johns
Waited a long time to write Batman in main continuity, and the wait was more than worth it. When we think of associating three Jokers with one portrait on the big screen by legendary actors, we can put them this way. The clown represents Jack Nicholson, the criminal represents Heath Ledger, and the comedian represents
Joaquin Phoenix.
and the fourth one, the joke, Jared Leto. Let us know in the comments below if you agree or disagree with us. Smash that like button if you like this video, and what do you think of this comic Batman 3 Jokers? Let us know in the comments below.